Hello friends, and welcome to a new episode of FemFlex Friday. Today I'm here with my lovely co-host Whitney Jones, and we have two amazing competitors, amazing women, amazing athletes in our studio. Hello ladies, we have Carrie Hughes and Amie Mock, and I'm going to tell you a little bit why they are here and what do they represent. So, as we know, we all love fitness. So one day, me and Whitney were sitting down and we said, why don't we just pick two girls that just turned pro, two fresh new pro girls, and bring them on and see what's life offering them, what's on the plate for them. So here they are. Yes. Ladies, welcome. Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome. It's beautiful to have you here, and it's beautiful to share your stories with our audience. Carrie, you turned pro last year, right, at the USA's.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about that experience, right? What division did you do it in?
So I competed in both figure and physique. Mm-hmm. I competed the whole month of July, so that was my last final try at my pro card. I took 6th in figure and then ended up winning the overall in the women's physique.
So at the USA's you competed both in figure and in physique. Okay.
Have you done that always, competing in both divisions?
No. This was my first show, was the beginning of July, ever even competing in the physique class. Mm-hmm. So it was new to me. I tried figure for 10 years.
Okay, and 10 years.
Yeah. And then decided that I wanted to just, they tried to talk me into doing the women's physique, but I was really adamant about doing it in figure.
Why is that? Did you have an image of yourself in that
I'll be honest, I really was scared of the routine.
Okay.
And I wanted to wear the high heels.
That's fair enough.
You almost wonder if they would let them wear heels. You know, obviously it would change your posing, but we hear that a lot for women in the physique division.
I should go without heels sometimes.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, can we just like optional?
Or hey, kick them off at a certain point.
Right.
Walk out in the heels
on your exit, just kick them off.
Yes.
I'm not so sure about that. Trust me, posing in high heels in physique or even bodybuilding
would be,
that's tough.
Yeah.
Right? You shaking, you have to tighten up all your body, right?
Yeah.
You have to be on your tiptoes. Yeah. And then on top of that, you're on heels. I don't think it's possible.
It would change
do a lot spread.
Maybe
I'm seeing a hashtag
maybe just the mandatory.
Just
the mandatories.
Totally.
And come to find out though, I'm like, I'll leave the shoes right there now. I'm good with it.
This is so much easier.
Yes.
So are you hooked on the physique division now?
I am. I actually really enjoyed it. As much as I thought I wouldn't. I feel like that's where I'm meant to be, body-wise, and
you had to learn everything, right?
Yes.
From zero, like except for those quarter turns that you still have.
I had no. That was just. I had never. Yep. I learned it all, and that was my first time ever in the physique class. Had never even.
How long did you prepare for it? Because I imagine it took a few months to prepare.
Yeah, so I did. I think I did a 12-week prep this time.
Okay.
And I just practiced at home nonstop with the routine and kept it as basic as I could because I'd never done those poses before. But it worked out.
It worked out.
Yeah.
How was it for you to get your mind-muscle connection? Because in figure, it's just you don't really have to flex that hard, right?
Hey, that was hard. I mean, yes,
biceps or a lat spread.
I'll tell you though, I'd be sore after those posing. Like just flex, like squeeze your hamstrings while your arms are up in the air and sit back, point your toe. It's a lot.
Flex your glute, don't use your glutes.
Don't move, turn this way, hold that, don't breathe.
So
Smile, look.
After the competition, I can say I've never done physique posing before, and when we got to do our photo shoot, Jay asked us all to do our favorite poses, and she hit this, I don't want to see when y'all look at me, I'm over there, my legs are broken, I'm so confused, and I was like, okay, I get it. I was like, mad props to you, because that one pose, was like, what are you doing with yourself? Yes, and she does it so gracefully, and I'm over there, and I look like a broken puppet. It was horrible. I was like, please don't put it on the internet.
All of us in all those poses we had to do them. That was fun.
Well, if we're talking about broken puppets, tell us a little bit about you. Oh, God. How did you turn pro? In what division?
Figure. So I did figure. I turned pro in my second show. I did my first show at the Branch in Houston. I always liked Branch Warren. Growing up, I kind of tend to look up to more male fitness and sports individuals. They were always a lot more grittier. And so I kind of just enjoyed watching them more. So being in bodybuilding, I did know more of the men side. And so Branch was always someone I really looked up to. He was always very strong in his faith and strong under the weights and everything like that. And I just thought, wow, you're cool. And so given the opportunity to compete in his competition, I was gung-ho. The first one got canceled. Well, it didn't get canceled. It was on the rocks with COVID. And I, along with the masses, got impacted by COVID, pulled out that year and went back the next year and took it all. I did novice, true novice, and open, and I was very blessed to walk off stage winning those amongst competing with other great women. And then my coach, now, let me tell you, I prepped for that competition thinking that was the only thing I was going to do that year. So I was already planning the day after. I was like, we're going to go out. I'm going to go have some fun. And then Shane was like, we got national, or we got USAs in 4 weeks. I was like, there goes my fun. What? And he was like, yeah. He was like, you get 1 day off and let's go. I was like, yes, sir. Wow. But I mean, he knew what he was doing. He knows what he's doing. He sees it. Yeah, he'll see it in you before you see it in yourself. And so I listen to him. I respect him. And, it was a little bit easier since I was already at that prep stage, and I will not say I walked into that competition thinking I had it. When I walked backstage, that was a flip side from your amateur show to a wow, those women. I wanted to just walk up to each one and say you're amazing, wow, and also intimidating. I will not, it's intimidating. Everyone's in there and they work just as hard, and they have just as much reason to win. And so you're like, wow, I have I'm not crying. And I have to work for it. And I got on that stage and, it's just, you embody something when you walk on that stage. When you know that's where you're supposed to be, you're no longer on a stage in a room full of people. You're in your own world. You're in your own realm. You're in your own, it's spiritual, but
that's not, I don't think, always true if you're not ready to be at that pro level.
Right.
If you're intimidated, if you lack that confidence. But there's a total mind shift when you know this is yours and you can step on stage and you enjoy the other aspect. You're there to celebrate you and to collect your pro card, and they're just there to watch it.
Right.
But it's a different mindset. And when you have that calm come over you, that's when you know, I got this. I got this.
And when we did our interview, when I got my pro card, but then when I went on to win overall, I told you, I was like, winning the pro card was definitely the goal. Winning the overall was the blessing. It was the blessing because it basically just double stamped it for me, saying you're exactly where you are.
Right.
You're headed in the exact direction you need to go. Your purpose that you have in life is starting, and let's go. And that's by the grace of God, and I know it. And so it was just, getting the pro card it was awesome. I was like, I'm established, I'm here to stay, and y'all ain't getting rid of me.
What made you decide to go towards figure?
My body did. Okay. I was always broad-shouldered, playing sports in high school. I did volleyball, track, cheerleading, so I was a base. I was always never the flyer. And so I was always just more of a thicker girl. And so my body, just my genetics, it is just what it is. And so,
do you see yourself going in higher divisions in physique?
I love physique. I admire physique. I think it's so cool. If you look at my Instagram, I'm watching physique girls all the time.
So why don't you prepare for physique? Yeah.
And this is what I said. So Shane's brought it up to me as well, and I said, let's conquer figure. I want to conquer figure. I want to go as far as I can figure, and then let's do it. I'm just taking on two. She would know more than I would. Yeah. Taking on two divisions is probably really stressful on the body and trying to manipulate and everything. And I'm just one of those that I want to set my goal and conquer, set my goal and conquer. I've tried to do multiple things. I tend to get lost, and then that's when I backtrack or I veer off. Yeah. And so I've learned that about myself. And so I'm like, here I am. Here's figure. I'm going to go as far as I am, which I know where I'm going. And then, let's see. And I'll take on figure if I want to. Or I'll just have fun with figure. I'll get with Carrie and be like, let's have some fun, and never even compete that way. But I would love to learn to, do some routines, because you don't have to be stuck in one division.
Totally.
You can still have fun and learn everything.
But talking about divisions, Carrie, what do you think it made you successful in physique? And you figure you're quite successful, but you didn't turn pro. What do you
think it was my physique. I naturally have muscle. When I build muscle, it's everywhere. I don't take.
You think it's the thickness, the density, the maturity.
Legs. These legs don't go anywhere. They are here to stay. They don't go. They don't like to get smaller. They don't like to do anything that they're supposed to do except be that muscular. And that's what it was for me. I fought it for years. Getting me to bring my legs down is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. And they still are there. If you go look at my pictures, like they just get super shredded, shrink a tiny bit, but they're still there. So it's very hard for me to have the super V taper. My back doesn't like to grow. It's not as fast. These things, I'll work them. They grow no problem. So I think the all over body for me, the whole physique, the whole package is more physique than it is for figure. That's why I just said, okay, let's just do it. Like I just need to do it. At some point I need to put that fear aside and just take that leap. And I did, and I decided that was for me, and now I'm there.
So when you decided that you're gonna do USAs in both divisions, did you start to prep in a certain way for the physique class?
So I actually did Charleston, Pittsburgh, and the USAs.
Oh wow! In both divisions?
Yes.
Oh wow!
You said that you competed in July, right?
Month in July.
That's right, because the shows were wow.
So I did 3 back-to-back, both classes, because I didn't know where I really fit in Pittsburgh.
How did you?
What were your placings?
Yeah.
So in Pittsburgh, in Charleston, I placed I think 5th and then 6th.
Which one did you place 5th in?
So I took 5th and 6th in women's physique.
Okay.
And then in figure, I want to say, I think I was second call-outs.
Okay.
In figure. Then when I went to Pittsburgh, I placed 2nd against the first place girl, which was kind of funny. She did the same thing I did. I competed for 10 years in figure, and so did she. So we were both neck and neck, and she won. She took first, I took second. She took first, I took second in all 4 classes. And so I said, you know what, let's just go. I'm going to go for it. Let me just go to the USAs. And funny story there is that was my very first national show ever. The USA's 5 years prior. So I won it at my very first, I won my pro card at the
story,
Circle back around.
Yes, it all goes full circle. So
awesome.
That's for me, it made it. And my husband couldn't go to the other 2 shows, so having him at this show, I think that was just...
So all in all, you said it was a journey of 10 years.
10 years.
To get your pro card.
But I did compete only once a year in the women's figure, because I kept going back to the drawing board. What can we do? What can we do?
All those years prior, just one time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just one time a year. And then it's like you get the itch to do it, you know?
Yeah.
But I was building my business on the side, my brand, it's like I was working on that at the same time, and then it'd come back around. Let me try again. Let me try again. And then I said, let's just go all in.
It was kind of like the cherry on the top of the year.
Yeah.
It was.
Especially after all those previous the last one. I better do it.
I say it every time. This is it. I'm not going to.
Short period of time, though.
Yes.
That's hard to peak at a national show, too, because sometimes people do the warm-up show.
Yes.
But you don't come in dialed in for that because you want to peak and be at your best for the national.
Yes.
Well, 3 national shows in 1 month, you're trying to come in at your best.
Every time.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Did your body change a lot between those 3 shows?
It actually did. I brought my legs down a lot. Like I had a coach prior when I went to Charleston. I ended up switching and going with Shane. I had 20 days to get on his plan. I was already there, but I did it. Like I said, tell me what to do. I said, is it doable? Yes, it's doable. I'll give you whatever it takes.
I don't think Shane ever says it's not doable.
He's not, but I think he knows exactly what to do. Like he said, I saw you there and I got my feedback. He said, this is what we need to work on. I agree with them and let's do it. So I rolled with it and worked out for me.
How about you, Amie? How long did you say?
See, this is where I'm like, I sit back and let others talk because I don't have that credibility of years of going in. When I started working out, it was merely for a different purpose. And I tell people, I say, the reason why I started into fitness isn't the reason why I stayed in it. Totally different things. And so I only started prepping. I decided to compete in 2019 to compete in 2020. So, and I was telling Carrie earlier, I said, man, that's where I learned the difference between working out for yourself and working out to compete.
Because when did you start working out initially?
2015 is when I...
So before that, did you have any sport experience? Did you compete in anything?
Nothing prior to like high school days was everything, which I was very much athletic then. But then between that, it was just partying and living it up.
Okay.
That's it. So that was it. And so getting into the gym, it was a lot of learning all over again, and then also learning that I was doing it all wrong in high school. Like all wrong, man.
Yeah. They don't exactly teach you proper form, and
but that's how I feel. That's where I found Jim Stepani, and I looked him up online, and I've learned how to work out properly through him. So he's been a blessing in my life as well. Great mentor. But so 2015 was just merely working out.
Starting working out.
And then 2019, and I kept getting asked, do you compete? Do you compete? And I was like, what are you talking about? And then because I didn't see it, body dysmorphia, I don't think it leaves anyone really. I always looked at myself and saw a small girl, and so I was like, what are y'all talking about? I don't look like those girls on that stage. And so, and when it came to bodybuilding, I'll admit, I only really was more so aware of like the men's side of bodybuilding and competitions, and not so much the women's side. And so being asked if I compete, I just was unaware of really the whole world of it. So I took to Google and I looked into it, and I had mixed emotions about it. A lot of that I think had to do with just my own insecurities and being like, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be told I'm not good enough. It's scary, And then I was like, what? No. I can do that. Yeah. And so, I had a coach at the time, was not Shane, approached me. He had his credentials, and this is where I've learned, you don't just go with someone just because they have people on their Instagram. Yeah. I followed his lead, and like I said, we were going to compete. And it would have been, so I would have been starting in 2020, but
2020, yeah.
As the world had it
started, right?
Yeah, as the world.
So then, when you got back at it, was in 2021, right?
Yeah. So when COVID hit and I got laid off, I'm not gonna lie, I went off track. I had nothing to do, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go to a gym, and so I just became like a drunken pirate. I'm not gonna lie,
drunken pirate.
Yes,
on the way
I was
to
drinking rum and then sitting around the house and kind of feeling sorry for myself. And I went out to eat one day, and I asked the lady, I was still eating healthy, and I asked the lady, I said, hey, it was a Mexican restaurant. I said, hey, all that rice, can you just give me like a cup of it? And she was like, girl, eat the rice, you're so skinny. And I was like, what? I was like, what? I'm skinny? And so I went to the mirror, and sure enough, I was like, I'm skinny. And so I was like, nope, time to get back into it. And at that time, I was hitting that depressing side of the COVID. I'm sure a lot of people experienced. And Shane, like an angel out of heaven, found me on Instagram. He was like, hey, something's up. And I want to help. I want to get you to where you're supposed to be. Even though his Instagram is filled with obvious, before and afters, and that he knows what he's doing, it was about his character. Yeah, the way he presented himself was not about, I want you on my team because you're an athlete. He was like, I want you on my team because we would do good together. I care about you. I love this sport. I love what I do, and I know you do too. So let's get going. And from then on, I stumbled. It was hard to get me back into it. And but Shane never left my side, and he pushed me. He's so motivational. He's a therapist and everything, in between.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah,
right?
and
that's what coaches are.
Yeah, and he did great. And so we started that October of 2020 and competed in August. We did about 16-week prep. Being my first one, I was really comfortable with that because I was like, hey, I'm gonna stumble. Yeah. I need some time, some give. I'm gonna mess up. I don't want to be stressing. So 16 weeks, stepped on that stage and kept stepping on it. And kept taking it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been quite the journey.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot more questions for both of you. We're going to take a quick break and find out more regarding those moments after they got their pro card. We'll be right back.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
Welcome back. And Carrie, let's throw to you, because obviously the whole journey is about being supported, and this is a family event for you guys. So please share that.
So like I said prior, I've been competing for 10 years. My kids grew up in it. I trained myself for my very first show 10 years ago. I had no coach, I had no experience. I read, I learned, I searched, did the internet, borrowed a suit.
You borrowed a suit?
I had no idea, and my husband's like, what is this? And why do you want to do this? I said, well, Nicole Wilkins, followed these girls, and just
but you were already in a fitness field, right? You were a trainer yourself at that point?
I wasn't a trainer yet.
Okay.
Actually, I was a trainer then, and then I kept, like her story, I kept getting asked if I was a trainer all the time because I worked out so much. My husband went to work, I became a stay-at-home mom, my kids were little, I was at the gym all the time. So I just said, you know, why don't I try to become a trainer? And then this all fell into place. I watched the other girls compete, you know, and thought, well, that's kind of my body type, and I like how that looks. So I trained myself for my first show. My kids, you know, get them McDonald's. I would eat the healthy stuff, and I just stuck to it, did my own plans, and years later now, my daughter is 20, and she'll be competing in June in her 4th show.
Really?
So cool.
In what division?
So she's bikini.
Oh, fun.
And then 2 weeks ago, my husband competed in his first show in men's physique.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So
Isn't that beautiful?
and won all his classes.
Wow. So is he going to go for his pro card as well?
So I think he's going to do maybe a couple more local shows.
So did you motivate him to compete?
I did. You know, he was on the other side for so many years and it was not his thing. He, you know,
lifting, you mean like going
he's
to
in
the
law
gym?
enforcement, so his job and all this is like, I can't do it. I don't have the time. It's not going to work for us, you know. So he supported me, traveled with me, helped me with everything. And then here he is. He's like, maybe I should do this. You know, we're really into it. My daughter did it. And then here he is. He prepped. He's with Shane also. So he prepped, and with his job, he made it. He entered 4 classes, won. My daughter won her class.
Oh, how beautiful.
Awesome.
And that was the show that you won.
So I won the overall at that show 5 years ago.
Wow.
So then I told my son, I do have a son who's 18. I said, you have a year.
Yeah.
And then you got to get on that thing with your
Is it just
dad.
those 2 kids?
I just have 2.
So
a girl and a boy.
Jump on
has
board.
to.
No way.
And so
Can't be left out.
he's already in it. He works for a nutrition company that's represents me, that I represent, and he said, okay, I'll do it. Well, funny thing is him and his dad might end up in the same class because they're the same height.
Oh, I love that. They're going to fight against each other.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See, by the looks of it,
fun,
you know
though.
how we always talk and we ask our guests what was the support system? It sounds like Carrie was their support system.
100%.
Well, to be honest, to be on the other side of it is a whole nother.
It's so
like,
different.
it's
Yeah.
so different.
Aren't you more nervous when you're in the public pulling for them than being on stage?
So I get his, like I can tell why he was the way he was when I'm competing, whereas like I'm all like cool, calm.
Yes.
Well, now I'm all stressed out thinking like the tan, the this, the hair, the makeup, show up, get checked in.
Even as a
fun,
coach,
though.
it's stressful. And I think it's almost because like when we're on stage, we can control. We can control what we do. Can't control the outcome. No. But when we're in the audience, whether it's a family member or someone we coach, it's an athlete, it's like nerves and, oh my gosh.
Do that right. Pose this right. Do this right. You do it. How do you feel back there?
Come on.
Yeah. Like calling about.
You're body flexing.
Yes.
Totally.
You're so tense.
I know. And then you're flexing when they're like, the quads. And your quads are flexed.
My favorite is the people recording with their phone and they're yelling.
That is that is me. I can't ever get a good video because I'm like,
you're so nervous. I can't speak to anybody. It's amazing though, just how for us that it's become such a family thing.
That is.
Whoever knew that it just, like my kids, I never pushed them. I never ever talked, go to the gym, eat your food. I gave them all the snacks.
They just follow the example.
And then they just see, and then here they are.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the power of like looking at your parents and admiring them for what they do and wanting to be like your mom.
Right.
That's the dream.
And then it's funny when the husband wants to be, I want to be like my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm going to compete.
And I love it. Like he did not want to for years, but just to see now him on that side, like to see his body transform, you know, the longest prep I've probably done was a 12-week. I stay pretty in shape.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
It's a great compliment.
5 months, and that was a long journey for him and for me. But just to see the results, it just makes you want to do it again. Right when you step off stage, like never doing this again, right?
Yeah.
Then you have that stage time, and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Let me do it.
Well, and 5 months as a first-time competitor isn't that long, right? Because obviously, if you're having to do 6 months preps and you've been doing this 10 years, you might be doing something wrong in your off season,
right?
But as a first-time athlete, if you don't have the muscle fullness, if you don't have the muscle development, you got to put that time in before you hit the stage,
right? So that's why I tell him next time it's gonna be easier.
Yes.
When did he join you in the gym? Because I imagine before this 4 or 5 months prep, he already started to come to the gym with you and train.
This is our date night. Date life. This is our life. We do this like we've never not done it. When I was 18, I got a gym membership. That's what I wanted as a graduation gift.
Okay.
My parents got it there, and we got married when I was 21. He was 20, still married. But this was our life. We just built it around fitness.
Okay.
Like that is really our thing.
What did you do before you became a trainer?
So I worked in the medical field at doctor's office, and then when my kids were little, we both decided no matter what it took, we wanted me to stay home with them and raise them. Yeah. So he went to work and I stayed home, and that's where we went.
That's how it started.
Yes.
Moving on to you, Amie. How did it start for you? You said 2015, and you mentioned a little bit of the reason you started, right? So how did you start into this journey, into training, like lifting weights, going to the gym? What was the...
so back in 2015, I was probably, most definitely, at my smallest, unhealthiest, just not on the right path at all. And what took me to the gym was that in my mind, I knew when you go to the gym, you lift weights, you get stronger, and you can accomplish more. And at that time, what I needed to do was become stronger. I was in a situation where everything was just crumbling down. It was, my choices were bad, the relationship was bad, the environment, everything was bad, my mental state was bad, and that all resulted from domestic violence. And it was about the 3rd year of me being in it. It started about a month in, but about the 3rd year of being in it, I knew, because of the escalation from where it started, which was just more of the verbal abuse, to now it's strangulation to unconsciousness. It's, it's rape.
So that was a terrible relationship, right?
It's more, terrible is saying it lightly. But because of seeing where it was headed, and I knew the next step couldn't just be happy butterflies and rainbows. There's really 6 feet under is the next step.
How did you get into it to start with? I'm always fascinated by how women, we get into these kind of relationships and then we feel trapped.
Now, I'm gonna probably ruffle some feathers with this one. I take responsibility for what happened to me just as much as it's his responsibility for what he did, because I grew up in foster care. I had a lot of trauma childhood. I did nothing to get help with the problems I had already, except my outlets were going to the bar, hanging out, being wild, avoiding my issues. Never bringing them to the surface, never getting them worked out. And so I was the perfect empty shell for a narcissist to come along and say, you're gonna be my next victim. And to me, he looked like a knight in shining armor. He's military, he's got his stuff together. He'll save me, he'll fix me, he'll help me. And so little did I know, that was quite opposite on the agenda. So I got to that point because I didn't take care of myself on my own, and I didn't love myself.
That's very empowering that you take responsibility for, whatever.
Not his actions.
No, you're not his actions, obviously, as you said, but for the circumstances that led you to that. Because sometimes in life, it does happen like that. You align yourself knowingly or unknowingly to a certain way, to a certain circumstance and position where the person that thrives on that comes and leeches onto you. And that was exactly what happened. So we do have some pictures. I think they were taken some time at the end of your relationship. Like that was you, right?
Yes.
And that was still you. First, it was you, small and skinny, like you look skinny there, girl.
That was, that picture where I'm smiling, I had an eating disorder. I was definitely not sober.
Okay.
I had very much...
Was it during the relationship?
Yes. That was at one of our houses, yes.
You look happy.
Oh, I do, because I wanted social media to know I was happy.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so I put on a smiling face, which a lot of people can do. And it's amazing how you can put on a face to avoid letting anyone know what's going on because you're too scared, or you think it's not okay to be weak or not perfect. And so, or like he would threaten me, so I couldn't let people know, because what would happen behind closed doors if anyone found out would just result into that, whether I showed it or not.
This photo, were you in the hospital? Were the police involved with some of these
that
incidents?
myself, because I thought, well, if he kills me, there's proof that he did anything before that. So,
this was just for your own personal use, or did you send this to people?
No, I didn't send it. Actually, I didn't talk about it until about a year after, because I did go to court. He was found guilty. So I fought it.
You went with this picture to the court. Is this the situation where you ended up, or when you took him to court?
No, that one wasn't the very last one.
Okay.
No, we did go to, I did take it. I fought. The judge.
Fought for what?
I fought for justice. I fought for myself. I fought for other people to see that, yes, it is an exhausting process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to require you to replay everything that happens to you over and over again.
What happened when you decide to actually end this relationship? What was the last episode? So then you went to the police, right? I imagine that's how it happened, right?
Yes, so,
and then there was a case filed against him, right?
It was, and it was me against him.
Yeah.
When the state saw the case, they took over it. The Commonwealth of Virginia. So it was they wanted it. They wanted to prosecute him, and I was like, have it. Because they said if it was me against him, a girl they would go all the way back to foster care. They would say that, it would have been an easier case for him to fight if it was me against him. But they were like, let us have it, because he doesn't deserve to walk this earth freely. And so he was dishonorably discharged from the military first. And it took a year to go back to court. It actually was on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
It was on my 29th birthday. Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, at first I was like, man, but now I'm like, yeah, what a birthday gift, Yeah. And so we went to court, and the judge ripped into him. He did, of course, tried to say I did everything to him. I raped him. I beat him. I did all these things.
How?
I know. That was actually the impression on everyone in the seating. They were like, what? And so, but that just goes to show he's very confident in his self, in his ways to manipulate and lie and be a narcissist. And so, of course, the judge wasn't falling for it. Is
he in jail now?
No, he is not in jail. He went to jail, and this is also something that took me a minute to be okay with. So he got probation, and I'm okay with that because I don't want to pay for his free meals. I don't want him to be in jail sitting there comfortably. I want him to be in society, and I want him to know what it feels like to have nothing, to not be able to do anything. And so now with his record, he has to feel small, and he has to admit to his faults. And I have prayed so many times for him to find his faith and be able to get himself together for his kids and himself and his family, but it's not my business anymore. I'm my business, and my future's my business. So I washed my hands of it, but and then also learning to be thankful for him and what he did, because at the end of the day, I would never wish any of this on anyone ever. I would love to stop it before it ever happens, which is why I try to be so transparent about my past. But with that being said, the truth is without him, without the things he did, without every step of the way, without every time I fell, every time I cried, every time you hit me, everything, I would not be sitting here with y'all today.
Yeah,
I would not be. I would not appreciate life. If he didn't try to kill me, I would not really appreciate life. If he didn't show me the dark, I would not be so happy to bask in the light. So, I mean, I lost my faith in Christ with him. And I also found it, by leaving him, because I wouldn't have been able to.
So
walk
that
out
episode was pretty much like the catalyzer for all your transformation, right? That's what made you start going to the gym, because you wanted to regain
stronger.
You wanted to regain the power that you lost during the relationship with him, right? So that's where fitness came into your life, right?
Oh yeah.
And brought all that light and that happiness, right? So it is a tragic story, but it's a beautiful story at the same time, because there is light.
Tragedy.
At the end of the tunnel, right?
Yes.
And we do have more questions for you girls, and we want to see what's in store for you, but after this short commercial break.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on Trifecta.
Welcome back to FemFlex Friday. We just heard a very touching and very vulnerable statement from you, Amie, and we appreciate you sharing that. Off camera, we were talking about how people in your situation can easily take that victim mentality, and their life can truly spiral out of control. But you found a way to flip it and to find your strength, and you did not want your life to be dictated by this situation that was so powerful and horrible. But what advice do you have for others who may be in this exact same situation, or have been lucky enough to end it but are feeling lost? What advice do you have?
So that's a good question. And I wish I had an answer that could solve all the problems. And the thing is that I tell people when they do, because people will personally message me, and I say, first of all, I don't have the answers to your problems. Because my problems, your problems, we're not all the same people, and so we can't walk the same path out of it. But my advice is you have to be patient with yourself and understand that nothing is going to happen overnight, and it's going to be hard, and it's not fun. There's nothing fun about it. It's ugly, and you're going to have to face the mirror, and the reflection you see, you have to not like it, because if you accept who you are in the situation you're in, you're not going to get out. That's just it. You have to start hating it. You have to start disliking who you are and what you're accepting, because patience and acceptance are two totally different things. And I think that we get those confused, and we start accepting people's actions, accepting who they are, and we're calling it patience because we think they'll change. But really, no, it's not. Have patience with who you are, but know that there's only certain things you should accept and tolerate. And whenever you start feeling it start to affect you negatively, and you starts taking you away from your goals and you know, maybe your faith, that's where your red flags, that's where you start to say, I'm out. So my advice, I wish I had something that would just be gut-wrenching, mind-changing, world, you know, altering, but really it's just listen to yourself. Because whoever it is that's hurting you isn't listening to you. They don't care about you. You know what's going on. You and only you. And whenever you say, when you hear that voice that says this is not right, it's not lying. It's not lying to you.
Listen to your intuition.
And whenever you get out, it's not going to be rainbows and butterflies. And like I was telling Whitney earlier, you know, I had to learn how to be unabused. I had to learn how to walk on my own almost, you know, all over again, because it was such a controlling situation that, you know, I didn't know how to make choices on my own. I didn't know how to just be okay with saying
because
okay.
you relinquished all your powers to that person at the time.
Right.
So then after 3 years, it was really hard to find
that was your norm,
right? And so, like we were talking about, the gym, it did give me a sense of power, but I was still battling that after abuse. And so I was going to the gym, I was going through the motions, and that was keeping me afloat. But I was still wading the waters because I was still drowning in depression and aftermath. And that's why whenever we went to competing, and I changed it from just working out to I have a goal. I have to change. I have to work harder. I have to focus on me and only me. That's when things changed. And then this spark happened where it was, hey, build this foundation and start telling everyone what happened and how you got here, and don't be afraid, because if you're standing here for those reasons, someone's standing next to you and maybe for the same reasons, and they don't know, and you wouldn't know. But what words can you say to change it? And so that's why I'm just gonna I'm going to keep talking.
You have a voice. You have a voice.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Carrie, I know that as we were talking about your career as a coach and as a trainer, I know that we were talking about the therapeutical aspect of doing that, of working one-on-one with people, right, with women. So do you have this kind of situations, like say somebody in Amie's situation that confesses to you, right? Yeah. Do you run into this kind of instances with your clients, especially with your female clients? Since we are
not
on
to that extent, but I do deal with a lot of life situations, which I feel like they show up because they know that I'm somebody they can confide in and that I'm going to push them. And it's not just going to be for the body or the look. It's the mental stability that they show up, and I'm inspiring because I keep going. Tomorrow is a new day, show up. Just if you show up, it's going to happen. So it's just more so, I feel like I'm the therapist, I'm the trainer, I'm the mom, I'm the all the things, but
all the hats. Wear them all.
And to touch on her story, like I was saying, I competed for 10 years where she did it and got her pro card a lot quicker. I feel like sometimes we aren't where we're supposed to be able to handle that.
For sure.
And I felt like I grew through that, and now I'm able to handle what comes with being a pro.
Yeah.
So I feel like even with my clients, they see that, like I was saying before, they understand how much this means to me, and not just so much in the fitness. They see that it's a family, it's family career for everybody and how we try to grow. And I've grown my life through it. So they love that part of it.
So let's talk about that. What are your show plans?
So I was going to compete early this year. After talking to my coach, we decided that we're going to wait till the end of the year. So my first show, kind of funny that I end up here, is I think I'm going to shoot for the Wings of Strength on 11/5.
You know something about that?
Awesome. Isn't that funny? So when you called, and then I had told my husband, I think these are the shows that I have for the end of the year, and it happens to be. Then you guys call me, so it's like
that is awesome.
So weird. I was like, oh wait, what?
What's your mindset going in for your pro debut compared to going in and competing at the national level?
And do you feel there is more pressure on you being a pro, especially in front of the support system you have back home? Because it looks like you have a gym and a huge community supporting you as an athlete.
I'm very competitive. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going in to lose. So I will bring everything I have. I feel like I'm at this place because I'm supposed to be here. So I was telling her when we were talking over the DMs that regardless, it's my choice of what show I want to do, but I am at the pro level. So I have what it takes to bring it,
So you're going to do Arizona Pro?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. That's my show. I got time,
so
which worked out great because they decided they wanted to compete at home, and it started to stress me out trying to get me ready.
Good.
Pro and them, and I was like, when I talked to Shane about it, and he's like, well, I don't know, and it just worked out.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
all like in the perfect
How about
timing.
your family? When are they competing?
So my daughter and my husband are deciding they're going to compete again on June 11th, which funny thing is that was my very first show at the Scottish Rite Center in San Diego.
Wow.
They're just following in my
footsteps. Everything's
aligning
so perfectly.
Like next one.
Wow.
That's so they cool. Can do. They are nationally qualified.
They are. So I wanted my daughter to wait. She's the tiniest little thing, the cutest little thing. I wanted her to get some more stage time, some more practice on that
Especially
stage.
Being so young.
So young. She's 20.
Are you coaching her?
I am.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she loves it.
That's
it's amazing. Like now she's seeing her body transform. I was telling her she's the tiniest thing, 94 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And on the other end of the spectrum, she was 94 pounds and always like, I hate being skinny. I don't want to be this. So even for her little story in fitness, seeing her little muscles pop out, now she's just like, ooh, I'm growing. I like this, And I think she sees my mindset, sky's the limit. Like, just go for it.
Yeah.
If you don't ever just go for it, how would you know?
Yeah.
That was
never
me.
done
Try
it, you
new
don't get
things.
it.
And I did it for 8 years. I could have quit, or 10 years. I could have quit. I could have quit way back when. But I don't get on the stage is not to beat that girl next to me. It's to beat me every time.
And you get hooked. I mean, honestly, in this sport, it's fun because if we love going to the gym, if you don't have a goal, it makes your gym sessions just
you're just
what
going through the motions.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the beauty pageant for fitness.
Totally, yes.
It's just...
because as adults, how often do we get to be glammed up and kind of have parties? It's like, you don't get to do, you don't get prom or
well, and then
anymore.
for me, after high school, it's over. Like, I always played sports, and like, what do I do next?
Yeah.
I'm so competitive. I want to do something.
You need an outlet.
And you just got to go for it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Amie, and you, what are your plans as a pro?
Well,
Where are you doing your pro debut? What
so,
are you looking at?
This is honest to God the truth. Okay, so I did not, and I told Shane this, it's like I'm not stepping on that stage unless I clean sweep. I don't want to step on stage unless I have it, and I want to do it every time. And wild as it is, I said I want 3 overalls, so I want a 3-peat, and I want to get my Olympia qualification in my 3rd.
Wow.
And so some people may not believe into it. I do. I think you have the power to speak things into existence, because when you start saying it, you start hearing it, and then you start believing in it, and then you start acting towards it. And so I told him I never pictured myself not in center stage. I never doubted I doubt, if I can lift this amount of weight, but I do not doubt where I can stand on that stage and right in the middle, and I fight for it, and I do everything I have to get there. And I said I want 3-peat, and I want my qualification. And so come August the 12th, it'll be the Texas Pro.
Okay.
And that's where I'm going to do it.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's it. I have no plan B, because I only need plan A. That's it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I love it's me versus me, and I do believe in that wholeheartedly. But it's a competition, so it's also us against everyone else.
And you're going to do figure, right?
It's like you're not trying to play.
You're doing figure or physique?
Oh, figure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I don't want to lose to her. But what I'm getting at is that I know those girls they're coming for it, and they all want the same thing I want. They all are.
Absolutely.
So that's the grit of this sport that I love, is that we all smile, and we're all it's me versus me, and we love it. But at the same time, we're like, you're going down.
Right.
Like, I'm gritty in heels, okay? I got this. And so that's the kind of thing. I mean, I love that. That's the competitiveness in us, is that, we know there's this beauty part of it, but underneath the surface, they're there for blood. And so that's my goal. And then after that, we're headed to Vegas. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, there's plenty of time this year.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We'll be there. Well, before we wrap up this wonderful episode, I mean, this has been really, really very intense, and I love it. I want to know a final word from each of you on what fitness represents to you. In the end of the day, what messages do you put out there? Why are you so passionate about? If you were to summarize, fitness into your life, and what messages do you have for people out there, or people who might be in need of it?
It's a solid foundation to build your life on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's where, I actually started my own company, Solid Fitness.
Okay.
And branding it back is because we built our foundation, our life, our marriage, our family, our lifestyle on fitness. And it's a solid foundation to build everything, mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, the fitness is not just going into the gym and working out, lifting weights. At the end of the day, there's so much more wrapped up.
And what does it bring? Is it like discipline, right?
Motivation, discipline, inspiration. Like, I love showing up. There's not a day that I show up at the gym that I hate what I do. I love meeting my clients, pushing them, inspiring them. They inspire me as much as I do them. They tell me that at the end of the day. And I said, well, I look at you guys and I see you over here doing it without me. That motivates me to keep going every day.
This is beautiful.
Well said.
Yeah,
definitely.
Amie?
So personally, on a personal level, when I started, I was all over the place in life, and so this sport and this lifestyle, for me, and I'm sure for many, it requires you to be on a straight and narrow. Mm-hmm. And I've heard that saying a lot growing up, biblically, and being raised in a Christian, straight and narrow, straight and narrow. Never really got it though. I pictured what it meant, but not until I started to walk that path did I really grasp what it requires of you. And it's narrow because you can't have a lot of people with you on this path. Yeah. It's really your path, and it's straight because that's the direction you need to head. Will you always go that direction? No, you'll veer. You'll veer. You'll go to some other. You'll fall off a little bit, but it's straight and it stays straight. You may go off, but the paths remain straight. And for this sport and this lifestyle, that's been the reason why I've been able to obtain so many more blessings in my life, is because I started to, you can't fit the negativity, you can't fit the bad people, you can't fit the BS, you can't into this narrow slot for your life. And had I gone any other direction, I don't know how wide my path would have been. But this particular one is just room enough for me in the good. And so for anyone who's looking for that type of balance in their life, and restriction and discipline, and also just reward, you know, I definitely encourage you to step into the gym. It's intimidating if you've never been there, you know, but screw that. Like, don't worry about what you're wearing. You don't have to have a full face of makeup. Your hair can look like crap. I look like a pineapple half the time I'm in there. I mean, you know, you go in and you show up for you, and you obtain in your goals, and you one step at a time. And, you know, this is something that we all know personally. We all started, you know, somewhere. None of us were born fit and in this sport. We all had to start somewhere. And so, like, I encourage anyone who's just looking for something that's going to require more of them and actually be a positive outlet for them to step in that gym. And if you're already there, don't quit. Don't stop, because you're a lot further ahead than you were when you started already. So, I mean, kudos to you. That's awesome. That's amazing. So, yeah, just do it.
Well, this has been quite amazing to be here with you, ladies, and thank you for sharing everything that you have done. Yes, absolutely. It's actually beautiful to see how fitness can go through different lives, right? Like, we have two different stories here, but fitness actually played a very important role in each and every one of these stories, of this situation. So thank you for sharing it with us. So
and best of luck in your shows this year.
Good luck this year to both of you.
Thank you.
And you guys, will see you on our next episode of FemFlex Friday. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.